Reduce, reuse, recycle. Today we're doing the last two. I'm making a fetching embroidered pincushion in a can, and the pincushion is filled with dryer fluff. This is my big book of ideas, and a little while ago I had this idea for an embroidery based on my memories of the goldfish pond at my grandmother's house. Oh yeah, the other pages is a tree of life design. I've been thinking about doing the RSN certificate, so I've been drawing a lot of Jacobean inspired designs. I like the one with the snake the best. Anyways, the goldfish pond. I want to do a circular design with fish and water lilies. I took some notes and then I did some sampling. And the fish in the sample look a lot more like Swedish fish. It's a kink that I need to iron out. I'm doing the water lilies with bullion knots, which I'm kind of nervous about because that stitch is always kind of a hit and miss for me. But with the sample, I put together a pincushion just to see if it'll work. And it does! That was a really encouraging moment. Alright, now, the dryer fluff. I started collecting dryer fluff. Yeah, I know, I think it's weird too, don't worry. So I collected dryer fluff with no particular end in sight. Just thought that maybe one day I'll come up with an idea of what to do with it. And I did, so who's weird now, huh? Oh, it's still me? Yeah. One more thing before I get started. I came up with this design remembering my grandmother's garden, but the subject of goldfish or koi and water lilies is a well-trodden path, and while I don't think I copied a particular design, I'm sure there's something extremely similar out there. So I know I'm not breaking new ground here, but what are you gonna do? For my fabric, I'm using this blue linen. It only looks like linen, it's actually viscose, and because it's a little bit stretchy, I'm backing it with muslin. You'll also need embroidery thread. This is... If you've ever bought stitching supplies on Amazon, you know those offers, 50 skeins for $20. This is them. They are advertised as cotton, but they are definitely not. They are synthetic. And from reviews, I know some people had issues with these threads. But frankly, I like them. They are pretty colors, and for projects where I'm just, playing around, trying stuff out, the floss is so cheap it takes a lot of the pressure off, and I can play around without feeling guilty about wasting threads. Other supplies you'll need are fabric scissors, embroidery scissors, water erasable pen, and sewing thread. Also, of course, dryer fluff and a needle, and an empty can to use as a base. Oh yes, you'll also need an embroidery hoop, preferably one that leaves both hands free. Because while I'm happy to use the cheapest supplies I could find, I am kind of working on neatening up my habits, so I'm ironing the fabric before I put it in the hoop. It's best practice. I'm marking the diameter of the can with a couple of dots to guide my design, and then I freehand draw in a couple of fish and water lily leaves. I'll decide where to place the actual water lilies once I see the stitching done. Then it's time to mount in the frame and we're ready to start stitching. To start off, I'm doing all outlines in backstitch. And if you're wondering what the strange contraption is that is intruding into the frame is, that's a pair of magnifying glasses, so I can see what I'm doing. I only got them recently and they are super helpful. They look absolutely ridiculous, but they are very helpful. Ta-da! Oh, wait, almost forgot the bullion knot water lilies. Ta-da! Remove from the hoop and check if there's any pen marks visible. If so, wash them out and dry the work. Now, to assemble the pincushion, you'll need some sewing thread. I'm doubling up the thread since I'll be pulling on it quite vigorously. Run a circle of stitches around the design. I'm using the press line of the hoop as a guide, and it worked out really well. Then pull on the thread to create a little pouch, which we will fill with a dry fluff. I'm using the lot I used for the mock-up version. Stuff it tightly enough to stand up nicely, but not so tightly that you won't be able to wedge your needles in it. Bit of a trial and error here, but you'll figure it out. Once you're happy with the stuffing, put a knot in the sewing thread to hold it in place. At this point, if there's another person in the house, ask them to put a finger on the knot while you tie the second one. That'll help immensely. But even if you don't have an extra pair of hands at your disposal, it'll definitely be manageable. Fiddly, but manageable. Then wedge the pincushion into the empty can. Use a mallor or some blunt scissors to neaten up the folds. This is purely aesthetic, but I think it adds a lot to the overall look. And we're done! The pincushion is ready to be used. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, why not subscribe?